What is up? Good morning. What's going on, guys? What is going on? What is up? What's up, my people? Come on in. What is up with this Jasmine Barnes situation? Did anybody watch that police interview? Amazing stuff to watch. Amazing stuff to watch, man. I was like, wow. I was like, you know, these guys, two black guys kill this little black girl, and they wanted to blame a white guy, right? They wanted to blame a white guy. So we get this white guy's picture up. And, congratulations. So they had this, white guy's picture up. They were talking about going after this white guy. He had nothing to do with it. Not a thing to do with this murder of this little girl. And all of these guys, like Sean King and Bishop, you know, all these, you know, white haters out there, you know, they don't take the tweets down. They're standing by him. But two black men have been arrested in a murder. But then you listen to the police conference, because the police, they gave an update to the little girl's murder, and they came out. And yet they still blamed white people. Like white people were the fault of these two black gentlemen killing this little black girl. I just couldn't believe when I watched the press conference as this goofball sheriff, fucking Ortiz, whoever the fuck he is, you know, I was like, wow, man. Remind me never to go to that Texas town or that county. It is a shithole. I was like, wow. I couldn't even believe the words coming out of that sheriff's mouth. I was like, wow. And here's the problem. They refuse to address the real issue. Blacks killing blacks. It's nothing new. It's been going on for the past 20 years. And they refuse to address it. They'll blame it on the white man. They'll blame it on society. Reparations. And oh, Jesus Christ, man. How about, hey, you know, someone will call me a racist for saying this, but how about fucking black people start cleaning up their own fucking mess in their communities? If you're killing each other at alarming rates and you're doing the craziest of the crazy, clean up your shit, man. It's not up to us. It's not white people's fault. It's not the white man's fault. Clean up your own shit. We don't care. Matter of fact, if you're going near that Texas town in the next couple of weeks, I advise you to drive around the fucking town. Especially if you're a white man. Fucking don't even shop there. Don't go there. If you fucking live in there, sell your property and move. Because obviously you have a fucking big bullseye on your back from your own community if you're a white man. That press conference said it all. You know, so I was like, wow, are they really saying that? That, oh, it's race relations. I'm like, it was a black on black murder. What in the hell are these guys talking about? I'd never heard any more foolishness out of a sheriff's mouth. How is that guy even a sheriff? He's the worst law enforcement I think I've ever watched. What a fucking clown. Amazing shit I watched. Amazing. Instead of, you know, and then he was praising Sean King, who was running around blaming whites. It's all the white man's fault. Oh, fuck you, Sean King, you fucking idiot. You know, Sean King is one of the biggest problems out there. He likes to fucking throw out these false accusations against white people every chance he can get. And when he's wrong, he just puts out a little, sorry guys. So, oh, you're taking my picture. I'm a beautiful man. I know. Look at him taking my picture. They got to have my picture. Yeah, but it is what it is. You know, they got to have my picture. He's a handsome man. Jesus Christ, if you Google me, you'll find more pictures of me than I can count, man. I'm a good-looking guy. But I'm not anonymous, by the way. I don't know why people keep thinking I'm anonymous. Oh, my gosh. But, you know, it is what it is in this day and era. To be a conservative, especially a white man, you got to be careful. You got to be careful out there in them communities that might have crime. You never know. You might get set up like this poor white gentleman down there in Texas. They were ready to go after him, man. I mean, I could see Twitter lynch mobs forming. I mean, they wanted to lynch this poor white guy. They wanted to lynch this poor white guy. And I was like, wow. You know, and there's a picture of him. I mean, it's been circulated everywhere. This poor white man. If anybody needs a GoFundMe, it's this poor white guy. This guy probably isn't going to be able to leave his house for, 3 or 4 months. But, I mean, this is what they were doing to him. I mean, this guy didn't do anything. He was guilty for shopping at Walmart. Literally. This guy was guilty because he went shopping at Walmart. That's his crime. His only crime was going shopping. So this white man, who had nothing to do with any crime, any killing of any black little girl or anything like that, this guy's got to hide for his life right now. They think he killed this little black girl, and it's gone viral. This poor white man. Imagine having to hide in your house. This guy's got to be scared shitless. He's got to be scared shitless. I would be. His face is all over social media. All over social media, but in the black community, they want to lynch him right now. They want to lynch this guy. No doubt in my mind, man. His picture has gone so viral. This poor guy probably, like I said, he ain't gonna be able to leave his house for at least a month. Imagine having to hide for your life because you got blamed for a crime you didn't commit. And then when the real perpetrators, the real guys who did it got caught, it's like, oh, and it's this thug son of a bitch right here. Here's the real perpetrator. This thug, this little gangbanging thug, and I say thug in the thuggiest of the context. And there's white thugs, just like there's black thugs, but this thug, there he is, Mr. Thuggy. How do you mix that guy up? How do you mix that guy right there up? And there were plenty of witnesses in that little community that they had. There were plenty of witnesses. How do you mix them up with this shit? How on earth would you mix the shooter who was seen? They're lying. They're lying, mind you. I can smell a lie, and they're lying. Those witnesses that were there that day, they're lying. How do you mix it up with that from that? How do you mix that up? Almost impossible, right? Almost impossible. I mean, come on. You can talk about a little bit of case of mistaken identity, but I mean, come on, guys. But let's move on. Let's move on. It gets better. It really does this whole thing gets better by the minute. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at something else. You guys are going to be absolutely amazed at this part of the whole thing. So as sad as it is, Jasmine, last name Barnes, she died. They've raised $80,000 to give her a proper funeral. Beautiful, beautiful little girl. She died. She should have a really good funeral. But it's on behalf to help her mom. Her mom needs money to bury the little girl. Understandable. $80,000. That's an Elvis funeral, but you're gonna get that money, and God bless them. That little girl's gonna get a great funeral, hopefully. But it gets better. It gets better. So there's the GoFundMe. Beautiful little girl. She was murdered. Tragic as it is. But let's go one step further. And this is where it's going to shock and awe the public. And if this doesn't piss you off, and this doesn't make you mad, nothing else will. I'll just give up and walk away. This is the murderer's Facebook. Okay? His Facebook. He's friends with the little girl's mother. They're Facebook friends. They're Facebook friends on Facebook. Oh. So they're Facebook friends on Facebook. Could you imagine? You're friends on Facebook with your child's killer. But you're acting like you didn't know who they were. What the heck is going on here? And how on earth would you not recognize your kid's loudmouth killer? how on earth would you not recognize this guy? Okay? How on earth would you not recognize your own child's killer you are friends with on Facebook? Am I right or am I wrong? How would you not know? How would you not know that someone you knew killed your child? How, and the cops aren't talking about this, by the way. But this has all been archived on the internet. But this is what I'm talking about. The vilification of the white man is so rampant that they're willing to make lies and cover for people. Now, if this isn't a clear case of obstruction of justice in itself, because how can you be friends with someone on Facebook? How can you be friends with someone on Facebook and not know they killed your kid? Unless you're a gang-banging piece of shit thug too. See, here's where it comes out with critical thinking. Unless you're involved in the gang life and you didn't want the world to know about it. So I'm pretty sure little Jasmine Barnes' mother is a gang-banging piece of shit. Pretty much. And that is just life. And when you expose your children to that life, shit happens. Shit happens. You know, shit happens. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? So, here we are. What do we know so far? We know that the mother knew the killer. She made $80,000. And she's probably about that life. I mean, you know, I'm sure. You know, but Shaun King, you know, was the catalyst of this whole mess. It's for the GoFundMe money. Of course it is. 80 grand. 80 grand. That's a lot. That's a lot of money. I bet you she'll be driving a nice Lincoln by the time it's over. It's probably doubled that by now. I haven't looked at it, but I'm telling you, man, it's crazy stuff. I need to start my GoFundMe page. It's for the wall. Oh God, the wall. The wall. You know, but you know, the thing that pisses me off the most is that they did not, one, apologize for blaming it on a white guy. They didn't acknowledge the fact that it wasn't a white guy. They didn't, I mean, they spent more time blaming the white man than they did talking about the killer himself. I'm not kidding. Go watch that 8 minutes of fucking diarrhea. You will be like, wow. 8 minutes of how the white man is bad, rah, rah, rah. Rah, 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 rah. Instead of talking about the thug piece of shit that killed the kid. It was all about rah, 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 the white man, rah, 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 and the white man, rah, rah, rah. And I was like, the rest of the country doesn't care, guy. You live in a shithole community. What do you want us to do about it? You have gangs that are out of control. Thugs run in the streets. And they shoot each other. That's just a way of life. We call that vacation land for them. We don't go there. We don't care. But, you know, one thing I do say, if you're white living in that area, you best get your ass moving out of there because they're ready to start blaming people for shit they didn't do. You know, that cop was like, I couldn't believe it. He was a fucking joke. But I was like, wow. But, you know, it's sad the little girl died, but this is the way of life in these inner cities. This is the life they live. It's not their fault, you know. It's not the kid's fault. They can only grow up where, you know, they're put, right? So you can't blame it on the children. It's the adults. You know, it's these thugs and, you know, scumbags, gangbangers, you know. But, you know, it's the white man's fault because the black male is just misunderstood. You know, that's the whole thing. That's why their communities remain shithole, because they refuse to take responsibility. They refuse to take responsibility for their communities. And their properties will remain shitholes until the day they decide to take some responsibility for their communities. I don't see it happening anytime soon. But we all know We all know they're shitholes. Thugs do thuggy shit. Well, until they found out the money can't be used for the wall. Well, I know the money can't be used for the wall. It actually has to be appropriated. I think people recognize that. I don't think that was the purpose of raising the money. I think America was more expressing the will to have that wall go up and show that how much they were willing to fork out to have that wall go up. And I think, 18 million, that's a lot of money to show that you're willing to raise money for a wall. It was more about the symbol of the matter than it was the appropriations of the money. We know the money has to go through Congress. It's actually a one-time gift. They can use that money any way they want. They could actually give it to Planned Parenthood. We can't stop that. But it was more of a symbol in itself saying, look, we want that wall. With that 18 million, that sent a clear message to build that wall. It was never about the money itself. It was about the message behind the money. So if you think that money, is going to get wasted or that money was for nothing, it wasn't. It was a symbol. So they can do exactly what they want with that money. It's already, the symbol's already there of what the American people want, and that's the wall. I think, liberals don't get that point of why the money was raised. I get it. It was for the symbol of the matter. It wasn't for the money itself. So, liberals need to figure shit out because they obviously can't. The veteran got a $30 million. No, he didn't. That's not how it works. He cannot take that money for a different thing. You can end up in jail for that. You know that, right? You can end up in jail for taking money for other than what you say you're going to use it for. That's called scamming people. You can't do that. So I'm not worried about that. That money will go to where it's supposed to go. Trust me. You think law enforcement's going to let $18 million fucking dollars go to somebody in a scam? That's never going to happen, my friend. That's never going to happen. But I wanted to get on here and touch base about this issue because I was totally appalled by what I was reading this morning and their unwillingness to first clear that man's name. And, even all these big black celebrities, they're not taking down this guy's picture, man. They're leaving it up there. I was just like, wow. Wow, crazy stuff. But, yeah, I hope everybody's having a great Sunday. So tomorrow, I don't know how much I'll be on. I might get on in the morning. I don't know about tomorrow night's scope, but I'll try to get on. We'll see what happens. It all depends how I'm feeling. Waiting on some news for my mom, so once I get that news, I'll know what I'm doing tomorrow, but I should probably have that news by, I don't know, 1 or 2, but anyway, so that's about it. Not a lot going on this weekend. I mean, it's kind of dull. We got Mike Pence and Jared Kushner and Heather Kushnak are going to Camp David to talk about the wall with some officials. It looks like Trump is trying to get Jared Kushner to bring the Democrats over. Say what you want about Kushner, but he seems to be able to cross that aisle more so than anybody. I know a lot of people don't like Kushner, but I think it's Trump's decision whether Kushner does some of the delegating for that wall. And I think people should trust Trump's judgment because, all this Kushner has to do is score a few Democrats in order to do this. So I think what Kushner is doing is trying to find a road in. And it doesn't hurt to explore all avenues. I think Trump's a pretty smart guy like that. Like, he wants to put the feelers out there to see exactly what they're thinking. Is there any compromise? Is there any wiggle room? Trump's a tactician. He's not a one-minded thinker. He's not going to sit there and go, give me what I want or nothing. He's going to try to, find the wiggle room. Can I get what I want without, sparking a big crazy catastrophe? He knows how to do this. He does it all the time. Trump's pretty smart like that. A lot of people don't understand that. He does this on purpose. It's all flair. And then he's got a couple people in the background working, and they're doing, the direct opposite, actually trying to cross over to the other aisle to talk to the Democrats. they did that with the criminal justice reform. So a lot of people don't understand, Trump's way of thinking when it comes to being able to be diplomatic. He may look like the asshole that's not willing to cross over. It doesn't mean he doesn't have his little assholes that, in fact, do cross over to talk to the other side, because they do all the time. I think a lot of people underestimate his ability to be bipartisanship on some issues. He did it, like I said, with criminal justice reform. I think he can probably do it with the wall too if he's smart. I think he knows what he's doing. He's not. A lot of people are shitting on Mike Pence too lately. What the hell's up with that? I don't get this with some of these fools out there. Mike Pence was hired by Donald Trump. If you got a problem with fucking Mike Pence, you probably got a problem with Donald Trump too. So you probably should shut the fuck up and sit down, because you probably don't know what you're talking about. I'm watching a lot of this, how people, attack, bits and pieces of Trump's administration. Trump hired him, man. If you're attacking any of his cabinet, you're attacking his administration. You're attacking Trump himself. You're pretty much calling Trump a fucking idiot for hiring him, so you probably should just shut up and sit down. I watch this go on all the time. I'm like, well, Trump hired him. And then, hey, what? No, he did. He hired him, man. What the fuck? Who do you think hired him? His mom, his dad, his uncle, his sister? Sit down, shut up. You don't know what you're talking about. I watch it day in and day out, And here's another story that's out. Now that we're talking, geez, I could go on for another 30 minutes. Now that we're talking, take a look at this, okay? Now, this is going to be amazing. Now, a long time ago, people kept asking, what are the military tribunals going to be used for? And I kept getting questions about this. What exactly would they ever be used for if they were ever used? And I kept saying it's for foreign enemy combatants or enemy combatants of the state. Well, the QAnon people, and let me explain to you QAnon people out there who believe in the whole tribunal thing. Yes, tribunals are indeed going to happen, but not in the sense that you think they're going to happen. So they've caught a few Americans, quite a few of them, in the past couple years over in Syria. They're fighting in the global jihadist war against foreign governments. And so when they capture these guys, and they've caught 2 Americans just this weekend, and what do you do with these guys? Well, you can't bring them back to the States because they're now enemy combatants. You can't put them in general population because they're jihadists. Jihadists in a normal prison will radicalize other people. So you've got to have a place you can house these people. You can't put them in general population. You can't even put them in Supermax. It's a really bad idea. They have done studies, and jihadists will end up radicalizing other inmates. So the new philosophy is to just lock jihadists up with jihadists, because that's the only way to stop the flow of jihadism. So what they're going to do with these 2 fine men from America is they're going to take them over to Gitmo Bay, where they'll wait for trial. They'll wait for trial at Gitmo Bay, and they will face a military tribunal for becoming enemy combatants of their own country. Now, this hasn't been done since the times of England. People like Benedict Arnold and, other people, Paul Revere, other people, Benedict Arnold, remember them days? So they have to house these guys somewhere. They have to house these guys somewhere. So they'll go to Gitmo. They'll await trial. They'll go before a military tribunal where, they're pretty much enemies of their own country. And they'll have judgment passed upon them. And that's what's going to happen to these fellas. So that's what the military tribunals are designed for. I said this a long time ago. I said at some point they have to prosecute these people. They just can't throw them in a cell and throw away the keys. They are afforded some rights as Americans, but their rights are a little different now because they decided that they would become enemies of their own country. So their constitutional rights are, they're not going to be afforded as many rights as you think that they're going to be afforded anymore. And that's where the military tribunals come in. because they don't want these guys in population. It's a bad idea. They'll radicalize other inmates. You can't have that. And I think the government knows that, and they're playing it smart. You know, they get what needs to be done. So that's exactly what that's designed for. And I just wanted to put that out there. That way people knew exactly why we need tribunals and what, you know, their plans are for these tribunals. You know, we should put them in the military so they can get paid too. I have no idea what you're talking about, bro. But anyway, I'm gonna get out of here. Leave the scope up in its entirety. I'm gonna be redesigning my scope to be a little more effective. I think I'm gonna start phone calls again on Monday, probably. Oh my gosh, what are you, crazy, dude? God bless them. They get some weird cats up in my scopes. Hey man, you guys all be good. Have a blessed Sunday.